Hello, guys. Welcome to the newest episode of Dummy Football Podcast. Here, joined with Junior and Jordan. Junior, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing. I'm doing good. How are you doing, Jordan?
Great. Waiting for these next World Cup games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tomorrow. What time is it?
they
Is
start
it
It's
at
at
8?
7 and 11.
well
7?
eight and 12 our
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Our time,
Okay.
Junior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, the quarterfinal game's just about to start. How we were saying tomorrow. And we just wanted to recap a little bit. Well, not recap, but just go over some new news that have circulated today, and then talk about some potential transfers and some confirmed transfers. And if we have time, we'll maybe talk about. We'll do a segment of time wasting. But uh, the latest news from Spain is that Luis Enrique have parted ways with the FA. Um, Junior, you have any thoughts about this?
I thought that was gonna happen regardless if he won or not. I feel like it's been taking a toll. We have to remember that he lost um, his daughter during this time, and it was really difficult for him, and he had to step down.
Yeah,
That was. I think that it was gonna happen regardless, and people forget. I know, like I listen to a lot of media about in Spain, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, he should have paid more attention instead of doing the streams and this and that." But that was going to a charity that he funded for his daughter, and a lot of people they're just like skip by it, like if it was just doing it for fun, like Chicharito, he was just as like his new thing, and it wasn't. It was for a charity.
yeah,
I feel like people are just trying to make him the bad guy when
yeah,
it's actually 11 players that were on the pitch. I mean, he picked them. He has some blame, but it's not like Luis Enrique, and I have to defend him because he's a Barcelona boy.
So are you happy with the sacking?
I mean, not happy because you like being sacked, but
Yeah,
I'm happy that he could potentially go somewhere club football. I think that yeah, and I don't know if you saw like how he was preparing his teams. He's more of a club football type of manager. International football, it's a different game,
yeah,
and I've heard a lot of managers talk about how different it is.
yeah. Uh,
So I'm happy for him. Hopefully Chelsea.
Jordan, your thoughts about Luis Enrique sacking?
It's sad to see him leave because he is an excellent coach. He's proven that he's been a great coach of Barcelona. And I don't really see the Twitch streaming to be something to blame. I think it was a really an innovative idea because it helped him connect with the fans, and he started talking to the fans, and I think that brings you closer to that relationship closer. And when they won 7-1, no one was saying, "Oh, he shouldn't stream." They were like, "Oh, this is awesome. Now we could talk to him about the game." And then they had like jokes with him about Ferran Torres, and I just think he's a very cool person when you
Very
hear him talk,
charismatic.
and yeah, very charismatic. And I just hope he takes a little bit breaks and doesn't rush into just going to any club that offers him.
Yeah,
But he's being added to a list of a lot of great coaches that are without club currently, and I think it might make some of these current managers nervous because you see the list. They have Pochettino, Luis Enrique, Thomas Tuchel. There's a lot of good coaches out there. Gerardo Martino, if you're interested in that type of coach, but
Zinedine
it's
Zidane
just
still there as well.
yeah, Zidane also, which I don't know if Zidane's ever going to coach again. I think he's already proven he's done a lot,
I think he's just waiting on the national team job. That's all. That's the only thing he's waiting for, honestly.
probably. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. A lot of the time when we talk about managerial sackings, they always think about like, you know, they kind of died trying to do their own thing. And I feel like that's what happened with Luis Enrique. He was stuck on his plans, and that's not the way he views football, and that's the way he wanted to play, which is nothing bad against him if you want to try to win your way. But I feel towards the end, it kind of cost him against the Moroccan side when it was very difficult to break down. But like you said, yeah, very good good manager, very good coach. Um, Still think he has a lot to offer the club football. So we'll see where he goes. Center. Any predictions of where a club, what club might be interested in Luis Enrique?
Barcelona again. If it doesn't work out for Xavi, I feel like Xavi might go on thin ice if it doesn't, because they've been doing pretty good. And if they come back and then they start not winning, because at the end of the day, you want to win. Like we could play a certain type of football, and he just doesn't have the players
Yeah,
right now to, especially squad depth.
yeah.
So if he doesn't that, I feel like he'll be welcome with open arms back at Barcelona. So
Jor-
that's one potential one.
Jordan, any thoughts?
I think it would be interesting to see him at Juventus, possibly a Premier League club. But Juventus are currently, they started winning right before they went into the World Cup break. They got a big win. So maybe that could turn it around, especially because a lot of the players that they had didn't go to the World Cup. So maybe that would be interesting to see him there, and either Serie A or Premier League, because I would want to see how a coach like him would do in the Premier League.
Yeah, the Juventus shot is actually really good because you know, I don't know, we haven't talked about it, but the Juventus board of directors all resigning and then being a scrutiny over Allegri, they could possibly be looking at bringing someone in for January, and Luis Enrique would be an interesting choice to kind of very different for what Allegri was building. Um,
Yeah, I don't. Me personally, I don't think that would happen because what I've heard is just they're in financial situations like in a fair play, so it's mostly has to deal with that. So I don't think they'll have the money to pay a Luis Enrique.
mhm.
So I think that kind of like disqualifies them for that position. But I mean, like, they could just put some leverages like Barcelona and
Yeah,
get some money.
find some money in there. Yeah, that would be an interesting trip. And then a couple of things that we wanted to talk about. Well, some injury shouts. Danilo from Portugal been playing really good in that in the middle of the defense. He's off injured, and Rodrigo de Paul is a doubt for the Netherlands games. As of right now, they still don't know if he'll be fit for that game, but let's hope that both of these players will be fit so they can start with a team and hopefully get a win for their countries respectively. Um,
Because most importantly, you want like when you face a team, you want like their full strength team. Because then there's that asterisk. Oh, you didn't beat them without Salah or this and that, and
yeah,
then next year, 2 years, and then they beat them with that same person. So it kind of like doesn't put an asterisk on that. Oh, but that year, this and that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I always, it's the
yeah,
same when you win like with the dubious penalty or something.
yeah,
You want to win
yeah,
as best as you can.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to the transfers. Um, Real quickly, we'll go. We'll name the transfers that have already been confirmed. Nkunku to Chelsea, all but sealed. Moving in. Is he moving in January or is he going to be joining in the summer?
I think it was gonna be joining in the summer. They wanted to get it done by January.
Yeah,
That's what I had
Nkunku.
remembered.
Yeah, Nkunku to.
Which is those type of deals are always weird to me. It's like why not just get the player now? It's just like I feel like it says it's a money thing. I guess.
Yeah, and
But,
the other one is an Andrik to Real Madrid. Um,
ooh,
in the summer of 2024. Um, PSG, Liverpool, Barcelona were all into this kid. So, um,
yeah. I feel like this is illegal. He's 16 years old. He's not
yeah,
allowed.
it's still one of those things where like they were going. I don't know if you remember, but they were going after like clubs for signing people really
Yeah,
young. But I guess they're going by
yeah.
it.
Barcelona, remember?
Yeah, I guess they're going by it because they're. It's not
And
gonna be
Chelsea.
official till 2024. So he'll be what 17, 18 by then. So that's the way that they're planning on doing it. But
Oh, so cheating. All right.
That's the way they're doing it. But I will go with you because obviously you're the Chelsea fan here. So what do you think Nkunku to bring to the Chelsea team? Where do you see him playing? And yeah.
I think he'll. I think he's gonna take over for Havertz, and then Havertz will play below him. I think that's what Havertz plays the best. And when he was playing with Germany, I feel like when they, as soon as they put in that striker, you saw how Havertz became alive.
Hmm.
And it's just like sometimes you wonder if coaches even know their players. You're like, you see them up close. Like, do you not see it? Like, and I went into this deep dive with Ricardo Lavolpe, top managers, and he was talking about he would ask players like, how do you see yourself? And then he would tell them like how I see you. So in that in between, you could find a place where I could play you.
Yeah.
Because some players are just like, this is all I play and that's it.
Hmm.
But if I'm like trying to convince you, like can you want to play over here? Like you'll be doing the same kind of things, but you'll be playing like this over here. I feel like that's a big manager type of thing.
Yeah.
So in my head, it's just like, doesn't Harvard tell him like, oh, this is where I feel like the most comfortable, or him
Yeah.
seeing him? Just crazy, but that's what I see him playing.
Jordan, you want to add anything to the Nkunku deal to Chelsea?
I think that's a good deal for Nkunku, but it could be a bad deal for Chelsea because he just got injured, so you don't know how he's going to react.
Yeah,
Especially, I think also getting him on the summer. I think they did that deal too because maybe they want him to rehab in Germany so he could get healthy. Because I've heard that
well,
Bayern Munich has a very good doctor there that helps with certain type of injuries.
Well, he's
But
he a Leipzig player.
yeah, but you could go to doctors from other teams, Kelly.
but this deal was it was done because they knew he was gonna go to the World Cup, so they didn't want his price to rise up. That's why they have done it. So
Yeah.
that was their whole deal. They didn't want other people to be like for Leipzig to up his price if if he did good with France.
Yeah.
That's what they were hoping. Leipzig
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they
and
hoped
Chelsea.
wrong because he got injured.
Well, I mean that's what happens with hope.
And
You're wrong.
I think it's tough to do that deal. I think maybe they should have waited a little bit longer. So hopefully,
In
when the
hindsight,
summer transfer window came, they could make the transfer. And he's a very good player. I think he could have helped this France team way more, take some pressure off Mbappe. But it's a good deal for everybody if it works out, because you don't know with injured players sometimes they're never the same.
I mean this
Yeah.
is
Hopefully,
unrelated,
it is.
but Aaron Judge, the Yankees player, like they had offered him. I can't remember what the amount, but on a 9-year deal and then or an 8-year deal, and then this year he's doing great. Apparently, I don't know what. I don't watch much baseball, but I follow some sports,
Yeah.
and he's upped his contract like 100 million more,
Hmm.
and for another year. So, it makes you think like some players might, that's why they don't try to like make any deals now, so they could up their prices, and
Yeah.
some clubs as well, so they
Yeah.
could sell players for bigger price, especially if Jude Bellingham wanted to leave, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
about-
Junior, we get it. If you do good, your price goes up. We know
Yeah.
that.
No, well, he's just saying that Chelsea
No,
were
like-
just trying to be proactive, but
Yeah.
it
Especially 'cause
backfired on them
the
because he
World
got
Cup
injured.
is
But
in between the transfer. That's what I mean. Like this is the first World Cup that's in the transfer.
in between,
Like
yeah.
it's yeah.
So
So that's
yeah,
why.
they were just being proactive, but at the end,
Yeah.
it kind of backfired on them. But they were trying to be smart with it. Cause yeah, I figured if he would have set the World Cup on fire, his price would have gone up, and he would have been in a place where Gakpo is in right now.
Yeah.
With Netherlands and PSV. But on to Hendrik, I did see a little bit about him of how he plays and stuff like that. He's very very good with the ball. Has a kind of sense for the goal, and you kind of like to see those players being linked with your club, and especially if your club are able to get him. Those promising players, and yeah, he seems really good. What Jordan? What are your thoughts about this deal?
No, you.
You love to see whenever teams get Brazilian youngsters because you hope they are all like a Neymar or they do good like Adriano, Ronaldo. You hope that all these Brazilian youngsters, wonder kids, work out like that. But hopefully he does. I actually never heard of him. This caught me off guard seeing the news because he is 16 years old, which I think should be illegal doing transfers with him. Even if you put the transfers to, oh, it's ahead of time, but we did it this time. I think you have to do it when he's of age. But yeah, hopefully he does good. I would love to see him with Real Madrid, especially with Vinicius and Rodrigo. But I think when he gets to Real Madrid, I think they might do the same thing they did with Camavinga, where they had him on the bench for a couple of games and just played him a little bit here and there, especially because Ancelotti likes to do that.
Yeah,
Well, like you said as well, like when they're so young, you still don't know, like, because yeah, the Brazilian leagues is a good league, but they let you play a lot. You know, they let you be dribble a lot and this and that because they just, you know, most players that's what they do. But when you come to Europe, they're just like you're trying to dribble and do that. They're just like hit you on the floor. Like when Neymar came from Santos, he was the most fouled player when he his first year.
mm-hmm.
So I wonder like how he's gonna adapt to that. Because over there in Brazil, they'll let you play with the ball. Everybody wants to see everybody dribble. Over here, they just like they're just gonna let you get away with that. So I wonder if he's gonna adapt while in Brazil and when he comes over here, or
yeah,
how he will do when he's here.
yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if like they actually try to keep him in the Castilla or they try to send him out on loan. You know, maybe a team in the second division in Spain try to get some minutes there, or get a feel for the league there. But yeah, because it could be where
Exciting.
what happened.
I said it's exciting for like it's an exciting prospect,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
very exciting player.
Or else these teams
I
wouldn't
never
be
heard of him.
going for him.
And you know, just to mention that this has been Florentino's obsession. You know, trying to not to miss out on the next Neymar, because you know when Barcelona got that deal, it kind of made him into obsession to get the best young players coming out of South America, but more
Well, he got
specifically the
Vinicius.
yeah, you got Vinicius, but
That was sarcasm.
it's just an obsession of not trying to miss out on the next big thing, you know. But on to a couple of transfers that have been heating up recently is João Felix, Gilmarin, president of Atletico Madrid, have come out and said that they're gonna try to find a solution for João Felix. Um, unhappy with the playing time and unhappy with Cholo Simone. Junior, what are your thoughts of this João Felix? Where do you think he would fit? What kind of position do you fit?
In AC Milan, right next to his compatriot Rafael Leao. I think that'd be deadly duo. I haven't seen them play together, but the way they play, like the way they go on taking on defenders, I think that'd be deadly duo for AC Milan. Having them together, I think that's where I would want to see him. Somewhere where they get at least, you know, and you know the Italian league is built for a lot of counterattacks. I think he excels in counterattacks,
Yeah.
so that would open him to scoring as well.
What
So that's where I
position do
would.
you see him playing in that AC Milan team? Because we know Pioli likes to play with that 4-2-3-1.
I mean, I think it would change it. Just I think he would be like I think he would put him as a striker, but I think he will like change from right wing to the middle
Yeah.
mostly.
Jordan, your thoughts on João Felix? Where do you see him potentially being?
When I think about João Felix, center forward, who could basically play everywhere, but his best position is either behind the striker or at the right wing. I could see him playing really well in the Premier League. I don't know which team, but I could see him being a good player in the Premier League. I could maybe as a center forward, and you know in the Premier League, center forwards, not just striker, but center forwards do really well in the Premier League. So
Yeah.
maybe there, but I could see Serie A too, but I don't know which particular team.
Yeah, I said.
Especially
Go ahead. I'll
with
let you
Haaland
finish.
being in, especially with Haaland and Darwin Nunes. So you could see maybe another team, maybe a Liverpool, decides to bring him in to help Salah. help an aging Salah and Darwin Nunes get some chemistry there because they both are from Benfica. So you could see the partnership already developed there. Or maybe Chelsea, but Chelsea would have to get some more money, which they probably could with Todd Bowley. Maybe Arsenal, but I don't know. I think Arsenal already have their players intact. I don't think they're looking for another player like him.
Yeah, well, one of the English clubs that you have mentioned and he's been linked to was linked to in August was Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag wanted to go in for João Felix. I don't know if they were are willing to go back in there now that they got Anthony. But well, maybe because Ronaldo leaving, they might be interested in João Felix. My only question with João Felix is probably his physicality, if he can handle it in the Premier League. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what kind of position he plays. Because I know he plays at that center forward position, but I like to see him. I think his best position is when he has loads of space in front of him and he can just attack you with the ball, carry the ball, and that's why I prefer maybe in the wings or as an attacking midfielder.
I liked Junior's prediction of AC Milan because it would be funny to see Kaká's lookalike play at AC Milan.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Just wonder if maybe they could agree on a loan deal, or if or Atletico Madrid will drop their asking price for João Felix.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think that another reason is they need money. I feel like, especially some of these players that are wearing like some big wages. I think another player that might be gone as well. Maybe Griezmann, even though he just they just signed him. It was more because they didn't want to get in trouble with Barcelona.
Yeah,
I feel like they're gonna find a way to maybe, um, or maybe not sell him, but trying to get the money for his wages
yeah,
or how much they paid for him.
yeah, yeah. And talking about AC Milan, Rafael Leao been linked with almost half of Europe already. It seems like every big team in the in Europe is interested in Leao and his services. I've been hearing Chelsea. I've been hearing Real Madrid are interested in him. I've been hearing City interested in him. So I just want to take a moment. What do you guys think of the player? Because he's a very exciting player. He can play off the left wing. He can play as a striker. Um, Feels like he would prefer to play on the wing just because he likes to cut in into his right foot. But what do you,
It's literally his only shot.
Jordan?
His
What do you
only
think
play.
about this? What team he could potentially be suiting up for?
If he says Arsenal, hey, you might. If he says Arsenal, all right.
I could see him suiting up honestly for Real Madrid. I
Oh,
think he's a very good left wing. I think he's very predictable with finesse, but it can't be stopped. Kind of reminds me of Robin a bit, where you know what he's gonna do, but he still does it anyway.
yeah,
But he's very good. I think if he develops his left shot more, I think he would be way more lethal in that position. But yeah, all those teams I could see him play for, he's a very good player. But I don't think, I think he might just stay at AC Milan because I think it helps your legacy more when you're loyal to a club. And I think maybe he might just decide to stay there. Possibly go to Manchester United because Portuguese players love Manchester United ever since Ronaldo were there.
Junior, your thoughts on this move?
I think he might actually go to PSG. I feel like if Neymar wants to leave, I feel like they would try to fill that void that Neymar kind of left. And I think Mbappe would like to have another fast player like him in the team that opens a lot of space for him.
Yeah,
So I think that would be an interesting one. Or if I was Leo, that would interest me.
right. Yeah, I'm just trying to see because I don't remember when this contract ends. I believe it does it end this summer or next summer? I don't
I think it
remember.
is next summer, the
Yeah,
2024.
yeah, 2024. Yeah, I was gonna mention that um, Real Madrid were only interested if he came as a free agent. We know, we all know how much
Surprise, surprise.
Real Madrid are spending on that stadium and how much money they've well, how much they haven't been able to, splurge the money on the transfer. So they'd be only interested in a free agent free agent signing for Leao. But 2024. That's also the we're not going to talk about it, but that's also the release clause when for Erling Haaland kicks in for other European teams. So um, I think Real Madrid would be more interested in going over Haaland for Leao. But yeah, Leao, very exciting player. I wish he would stay in AC Milan, but I just feel like um, financially AC Milan won't be able to give him what he might feel he deserves, and rightly so with everything he's been doing with AC Milan and with the in this World Cup. Onto onto a next player that's been kind of killing it for in the World Cup is Gakpo. Um, he's been Manchester United are interested in him. Leeds United were interested in him in the summer. Nothing came
Yeah,
off
that's
it.
an interesting one.
Um, Arsenal are linked with this player. Real Madrid were linked with this player, but I don't think they'll be going for him. Um, Juventus were linked with this player. You just kind of wonder what type of team he would go in because he does play as a center attacking midfielder, as a left winger, and he loves playing as a striker as well. So kind of versatile as João Felix. Arsenal are an interesting choice because we all know Gabriel Jesus will be out for the remainder of the season, so you could probably see them going for someone like Gakpo, where he could play multiple positions. Um, but I'll start off with you, Junior. What do you think this player could play?
Well, if AC Milan let go of Leao, then I think he could join AC Milan. There's that Dutch heritage in AC Milan, so I think you will fit right in.
What about you, Jordan?
But also
I
at
don't
Chelsea,
know.
I before when he was upcoming, that Chelsea was interested in him when they had Peter Crouch, I think. I mean, not Peter Crouch, Peter Cech.
Peter Check.
He was one of the
Peter
three that,
Crouch.
that was that was scouted. My bad.
I think it's interesting you bring up Arsenal because I think he was an Arsenal youngster. If I'm not confusing him with Daniel Malin,
No,
but I
you
think
are.
he was a
Yeah,
youngster for Arsenal.
you're confusing him with Malen.
I'm pretty sure it was him though, because I remember seeing him with an Arsenal kit.
Let me check real quick.
How many Dutch? Well, you how many Dutch players you guys had?
Well, Bergkamp, one of the best.
That's it.
And now we had other Dutch players, but I can't think of them right
Van
now.
Persie.
It might have been. Back.
Oh yeah, I can't think of Van Persie because he's a traitor.
No, it was Malen that came from Arsenal.
Oh, okay, because I get confused with them because they're both very young.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something else.
No, it's because they're both very young and they both play on the left wing, so that's why I get confused with both of them. And they both didn't have their pictures in early FIFAs. That's how I knew them too. But yeah, it would be interesting to see him at Arsenal because Arsenal do have, like you just said, with Bergkamp and Van Persie, we have been very good with center forwards from Netherlands. Maybe he's a Van Persie fan, but I don't see him going to Arsenal. I think he's more interested of like a bigger club, more of like a Real Madrid or maybe even a Chelsea or Manchester United, like a Van Nistelrooy type. But I would be whatever club he joins, I would love to see him because he's a very talented player. You talk about I think it was the second game where he scores that goal out of nowhere, where he just takes the ball from Klaassen and just has a wonderful shot to the front post of the goal he didn't even expect it. And you're like, that's a talented striker where he could kick it with that much power. But it'll be fun to see him, whichever team he joins.
Yeah. Also, Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag shares the same agent as him, and they were interested in him in the summer as well. So we'll
Where's
see.
the financial fair play when you need it?
Jose Mourinho shit then.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where that goes as well. Um, a couple other names that have been in the
Did you
in
mention where you wanted to see him?
well, I thought Arsenal would be a good choice. I just
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
like
he said Arsenal. He
Yeah.
said because the Gabriel Jesus being injured.
yeah, and he'd definitely be an option there. especially
Yeah,
because
Mo,
of
how
his
about you listen next
versatility.
time, Junior? Huh?
um, Obviously the men's national team showing a good face for some of their players. Sergino Dest, but AC Milan are are trying to permanently sign him to a deal. Currently on loan with them, so AC Milan will try to get that deal permanently. I think it makes a financially good choice for AC Milan. I think they'd only pay about 20 million or something like that was the fee that they were talking about. So a good fee for a young uh, American that if you're looking to sell him maybe in 3 40 years you could maybe triple or double that amount. And then Yunus Musa has been linked with a lot of recent clubs. Obviously from Valencia. One of the big names was Arsenal, but some other La Liga teams were interested as Atletico Madrid. So I'll go with you for El Jordan just because he's a Valencia player and you can talk more of where you'd like to see him go.
Well, Yunus Musa is an amazing player. I think he played really well in the center mid because usually he plays right mid with Gattuso's team. But lately, I think the past games before they went on break, I think he was switching him to a center mid position because I think that's where he feels more comfortable, even though he is a 5'8" center mid, which is pretty rare to have a center mid like him, where he defends and attacks, kind of a box to box guy. I would love to see him go back to Arsenal because that is where he got his start, basically. That is the team that brought him up, and then they gave him to Valencia. So it would kind of be a back and forth between those two teams. But yeah, I could see him go wherever he goes. I wish him the best because he is a very cool guy. Whenever I seen interviews with Valencia, he's a very humble person too, and just a nice character all overall. The Serginho Dest one I find interesting because I think he played probably one of the best positions with the United States team. I think when they were attacking on his side, I think that's when they looked the most dangerous. And every time they went to Anthony Robinson's side, I didn't really feel like him and Pulisic had like a connection. I felt like him and Timothy Weah, Sergino Dest and Timothy Weah had a better connection on the side. And you saw him try to go in, try to go out, try to cross it. He did everything. And I think that might make Barcelona reevaluate their decision on loaning him out.
All right, Junior, your thoughts on the Dest and Musa deal?
Hello, Will.
The Musa potential deals for
Uh,
Dest and Musa.
yeah, Des. I think it makes sense. I think Barcelona. I mean, I don't think they're gonna fight it. They need the money. Obviously, they're impressed because their defensive capabilities was always the question mark that they had, and he showed that he can be defensive and he could be solid in there. But I think they're not gonna fight it off. They might want to ask a little bit more, but I don't think they're gonna push their luck. I think they'll take whatever they'll give them.
Yeah.
And then for Yunus Musa, I think I would like to see him in a Mourinho team. Actually, I'd like to see him in Roma.
Oh,
I think that'd be interesting to see him at Roma.
yeah.
I feel like Italian football also lets you. I think he could develop like a good eight, like he was saying, box to box, and kind of distribute the ball because you saw him at the game. I think he needed more confidence a little bit in the sense that you need to ask for the ball. I don't feel like he asked for the ball as much as he should have,
Hmm.
and I feel like I think Mourinho might bring that out of him to be like a Frank Lampard. Like he actually did create and he actually did attack more, or something like that
Yeah.
across.
Yeah. Yeah. No. The Roma or Italian football honestly makes a lot of sense. We also seen what Western McKennie was was doing with Juventus. Bringing a lot of energy and a lot of tenacity in that midfielder.
Hmm.
But okay, off to a couple of that just been circulating some rumors. I'm gonna just go off them real quick, and then if you guys want to talk about them, I'll go ahead and give you guys the chance to speak on them. Benacer been really good for Milan, linked with Barcelona, with Arsenal, with City. Um, just a really good defensive midfielder that AC Milan midfielder, along with Tonali. Um, I think last season that's when we really had his breakout season with Milan, and this year he just been solidifying that that his status as maybe one of those undisputed starters for that AC Milan. Another interesting one, Cassie. People are saying that he might want to look out or go on loan, not really getting much playing time under Xavi with Barcelona. There was talks about Spurs being interested, Newcastle as well, of willing him to take it on loan. Um, I don't know how he would actually feel to maybe not be in the Champions League with Newcastle, but Spurs obviously still in the conversation, so maybe that'd be an option for him. And then the last one was Mateus Cunha from Atletico Madrid. Um, I've heard that Inter were interested in him. I heard Wolves were also interested in taking him. So just a striker
You
that.
heard?
Oh,
You make it seem like you're in the like doing the transfers. Like I heard.
well, I mean,
Fabrizio
like
Romano
I've
me a name.
read and I've heard, read that.
But I know that I just like I believed you for a moment. I was like, wait a minute. You're a
I'm
Yuma.
gonna do the Fabrizio Romano. Here we
Yeah,
go.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but yeah, uh, a striker that really didn't hasn't really done much with Diego Simeone. I don't know if it's the playing style or just himself not getting evaluated to the Liga, but he has scored a couple of goals here and there, but hasn't really realized the potential of that 45 million uh, asking fee. I'll go ahead with you, Junior, and you can kind of go off on those if you want.
Kessie is the most. I think Kessie makes the most sense that he wants to leave Barcelona. Even though I think he's a great player, I just don't see him fitting in the Xavi's play style. I think he's more of to me, a bit of a destroyer with essential like, if he was in a Mourinho team, like this is what he dies for, like this type of players. So I feel like,
Maybe a loan
having
back
said that,
to Milan.
no, I feel like he's gonna. I think Chelsea might want to go get him because Kante has been injured for
I could
a
deal. Yeah.
substantial like time, and I think they need a player like that
Yeah.
who's willing to get the ball and take the ball from people. I think they don't have no one in their squad that's similar to him.
Yeah.
I feel like I think if Chelsea were to come calling, I think he might evaluate that. I think that'd be interesting for him, and he's playing Champions League football.
Jordan.
The Benacer one hits close to home because he was linked to Arsenal before he joined AC Milan. It's a been a player that's always been linked to us. I don't think we'll ever get him, but he is a very good center defensive mid. I think he could probably get a La Liga team even interested in him because Algerian players do perform well in the La Liga. There's been a lot of players. There's that center back who plays for Betis who's Algerian. I forget his name, but he's very good.
Issa Mandi.
Yeah, and you just see those type of players. Figuli used to play for Valencia, was a very good player for them. But I don't see him going to the Premier League. I don't see him going to Arsenal. Maybe Chelsea because they do need a replacement for Kante, as Junior just said. But Kessie is an interesting player because he was a good youngster with Sassuolo. That's where everybody kind of heard of his name when he was barely 19. And then he joined AC Milan and kind of continued growing. And I think he should have stayed there. I think he might regret the move to Barcelona because I think if he would have stayed, I think you just build on that chemistry that he has with Tonali. So I don't know where he would go. I have no clue because, as Junior said, he's a destroyer. Maybe Mourinho's interested in him because Mourinho's very good with center defensive mids.
Yeah.
They usually do very good in his teams.
Yeah.
But maybe a return to Serie A, maybe to Inter, who were interested in him before Barcelona got him.
Yeah, they were.
But and also Cunha, who got his start with Hertha Berlin, right?
Yeah.
He scored an amazing goal against Borussia Dortmund, and I think he's a Brazilian cam who plays striker, who plays center forward. I think it would fit a move to Inter, but Inter already has Lukaku and Joaquin Correa and Dzeko, so maybe they would have to wait for Lukaku
When
to
you
go
said
back
that,
to Chelsea.
when you said that, it reminded me of Firmino. I was like, so maybe they could get him at Liverpool. Because I knew
Yeah,
Oh,
Firmino.
that
maybe
is it's
maybe
interesting
it could
too,
be an option for Liverpool.
because he is a good center forward, and I think when you were saying this as a play style, I think any play style of Simeone kind of cripples you because he is very defensive. So it
Yeah,
kind of cripples you when you have Joaquin Felix, Joao Felix, and Griezmann, and they're coming off the bench, and your team's still playing defensive. So I think that really didn't help him. Uh, and then he also went for a lot for 45 million, which adds more pressure on you. Like we've seen with Darwin Nunes when he went for a big amount of money, and now he has a bunch of pressure on him when he was supposed to not go from that much. As you heard Rui Costa talk about when Liverpool offered him that much money, they were like, okay, and laughing because they knew that he should go for lower because he isn't that experienced. But Cunha is a very good player. I would love to see whichever team he goes to.
yeah. Um, all right, guys, we're gonna do a little segment we like to call time wasting today. We'll just be talking about nothing in particular, just what we want to talk about, and what we find interesting or what we just want to delve into. I'm gonna say one of my I forgot to mention this, but I was thinking this. I don't know how the relationship is between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, but maybe Luis Enrique for Atletico Madrid. You know, changing a whole 180, change the style of play, change the way they attack. I don't know, just be an interesting option.
I don't
Um,
think Simeone will leave. And unless the Argentina national team is available, I think that's where he would want to go. Or because he used to play in Inter, is that correct?
Yeah, he was an
yeah,
Inter Milan
Inter.
player,
Yeah.
and they just uploaded the highlights of him scoring 10 goals,
I think
his
that
top
could be
10
another
goals.
possibility.
Well, possibly because Inzaghi has been screwing us.
Yeah, I feel like that's other possibility. I see Simeone playing, and he would be received welcome. At one point at Chelsea, I would be like, yeah, you know, especially because I always say this. I mean, to you guys, not to the people, but Stamford Bridge is a pretty tough place to play any type of attacking football. It's
Yeah,
so narrow that you being defensive is your best bet at winning.
Well, that's how Jose Mourinho won his title with
Exactly.
Chelsea.
That's why I was like, Cholo Simeone to Chelsea, I would welcome him, honestly. See
yeah,
how he does.
yeah.
I would
I
also
just
love
mentioned
to
it
see him
because
in the Serie A though.
Yeah, that's
I know recently Atletico Madrid have been struggling and they've been question marks over Simeone, and you know, he's one of those figures where you don't think the club is gonna sack him. He'll go once he decides it's time to go, type of things. Um, but I don't know if
especially how much achievements he's got with them.
yeah.
I mean,
So
before
that
that, there was like one, and you know, there wasn't much to be celebrated about.
Yeah,
yeah,
they weren't even top three club in Spain. They were like five, six, or seven.
Yeah,
right,
They weren't like known for that, and then he wins two titles with them and takes them to was it three Champions League finals?
yeah,
It was two, right? It was two
yeah,
because the
two, two,
penalty
two.
one and then the goleada at extra time. But yeah, he's a good coach, a very cool personality. I would love to see him at any team in the Premier League, to be honest, just to see how he would act with the other managers. Because you seen him at Liverpool, Anfield hated him for what he did to them.
Yeah, yeah. He's one of those managers that kind of gets under your skin when you're facing him because it's just his teams are so difficult to beat, and then they just give you that one go and they just don't give you anything. And I think that's why Jurgen Klopp, after they got eliminated by Solimane, was so salty.
yeah. And always another thing. This is off topic, but I hate when managers like put down a team for beating them, and they're like, "Oh, they played us this way," and they're like, "Yeah, but he still beat you." Like, well, that makes you
Yeah,
feel like foolish. It's like, oh, he like they played us the easiest way to play, and then they still beat you. I mean, that makes you look like a fool, if anything.
yeah. It's always like, it's obviously like a big debate of like, possession based football, defensive based football, counter attack football. Like, it's just each their own, and like whatever you can use for your players to and your team to get like results. It's like, you might not like it, but they're winning.
Yeah,
So I
and it's
think
not
that's
like
just
they didn't try to do something or like had didn't have a game plan. That'd be more. I mean, if I like beat a team like 5-0, that'd be more embarrassing than a team beating me 1-0.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I'd be like,
Well, it depends
shame on
how.
that team. Shame on that team that I just freaking like just wiped the floor with them instead of this team that's actually giving me a battle and they beat me.
Well, I don't give fault to coaches after post match conference where you still in those emotions. I think it gets. I think
I
it
guess the
gets.
best way.
I think it gets annoying once it's happened and it's a while, and then you're still talking about that. I think that's when you're like, all right, dude, you weren't prepared. What do you want me to say? Your game plan didn't work, and you didn't change it at halftime. Which
yeah,
that's what halftime's for, to change your plans, to improvise.
yeah.
Yeah, that old school manager. I was reading it, like I said, I was on the deep dive and then just like how different managers kind of were.
A deep dive on who?
Just managers, and just, but essentially like Ricardo La Volpe. But how like they like some managers is just like they gave you a game plan, it didn't work out. They changed the game plan halftime and then we put it into play. That's where you got like those players like kind of like taking upon themselves like there was the formation. This is how we're gonna play. When this happens, you do this, and then let the players kind of think on their own. And now managers, I feel like they tell the players where to go, when to go. Like I feel like it takes away from, especially if you see a player that's talented.
Yeah.
It's like let them, think on their own. Never like, and it still happens. It's just like you take
Real
you
Madrid is a
forget
perfect
about.
example where they're
Yeah,
just
you
11 group of players and
just
just
vibe,
like, all right, do
just
do
vibe.
something. It's
I
the
don't know, because I think the
Santiago
discredit is
Bernabeu and vibes.
Ancelotti. But I think Ancelotti allows them to do that, but he still has his tactics entwined with them because
Yeah,
the
but that's
players
what I
know
mean.
what
Well,
his tactics are.
I was gonna say,
You
but
you see them.
early on in Ancelotti's career, he had like a way of play, and it always brings up when with Thierry Henry, where like he didn't see a fit for him, so he decided to sell him, and he obviously went to Arsenal, and that the rest is history. But I feel like from that he kind of learned that, like, I gotta work with the players that I got instead of trying to mold my
My way.
tactics onto the team. And so that's why I think he's been very successful with PSG, with Real Madrid. Players with teams with who have like a
AC
lot of
Milan.
AC Milan teams with teams that have like very big players and position, and he just kind of finds a way to like Chelsea as well. Okay, Chelsea as well.
Oh, AC Milan is the best team.
But
Which is the
where he has a lot of big personalities, big egos, and he's been able to find success with them because of that way of trying to just get the best out of the group.
Yeah, which is has always been a great manager. I'm always baffled when people don't give him a chance. I'm even surprised he even took the Everton job. I was like, why he's where? Why?
Yeah,
Well, the other thing with the managers about like not them sticking to their game plan, like we honestly don't know. But I think with the availability of like YouTube and teams shooting their own stuff, you get to see more of the manager, especially with the Amazon, the All for Nothing with Mourinho. You saw how he talked to the players. You saw how Pep Guardiola talked to the players. You saw how Mikel Arteta talked to the players. And after those, you see comments on people being like, "Oh, I have more respect for this guy." And like, I think you should respect the manager even though you don't know what goes on in the locker room. Because it's just like, oh, because I don't see it, I don't believe it. That's a dumb way to live as a fan. Like you need to trust in your managers. Like Ancelotti, every time I've seen him as a coach in PSG or Real Madrid, I've always thought this guy knows what he's doing. You could just tell how he looks, how he's prepared. He's always calm. He's never in. He never looks like he doesn't know what's going on. And I think that's when coaches are the best. Obviously, there's coaches like Mourinho who let the emotions take over. So you're like, is this guy prepared or is he not? But he's proven that he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
guy just lives for the moments and trying to incite people and trying to get something. Like,
but
there's a
yeah,
lot, bunch of stories of how he takes advantage of certain rules and a lot of different things. It's just like this guy is just, way ahead of like how he sees football.
yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of really good managers right now that are coming up and are, being the next wave. One of them, not to be biased, but I just been, watching it because I've been interested to see where he goes and how's he doing. But it's been Vincent Company right now with Burnley. What he's been able to do with Burnley, how play like attacking football, and the players that he's brought in have been really, really young players. Um, I know they got that Ian Matson from Chelsea, that fullback, Dutch player, and he's been really, really transforming the area. And you've seen the video of him when he's talking to his players, and you just feel like he's one of those managers that is going to be really good at managing Eagles and stuff like that in that dressing room. But what's another one? Maybe Van Nistelrooy with PSV right now. You know, being able to get the best out of Cody Gakpo as well.
Mikel Arteta.
Mikel Arteta as
I
well,
mean,
yeah.
he's been. I mean, Arteta's been in, for a hot minute already. Also, I'm interested in Xabi Alonso because and one of the
Xabi
players that
Alonso.
you always wished that he played for your team.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm interested in what he could come up with that playing style and how he plays.
yeah.
Another one that we haven't heard of one is Thiago Mota, but just how crazy is that? Like the way he was talking about football.
Oh yeah,
He onto something.
with the infamous 171, and then
Yeah,
the
One
goalkeeper.
of Mourinho's favorite players to play with at Inter.
Yeah, yeah, but with the it's interesting just to see the next wave of managerials and what
and
the
also the
ideas are.
Xabi Alonso, like just the managers he played under, all that knowledge that running through him. That's
What
interesting.
is it? Mourinho,
Xabi
Ancelotti, Guardiola, um,
Bosque.
the Bosque, and Benitez too, right? With Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah, so just some of the best in there as well. Um, yeah, and how I said, Xavi with Barcelona, he's been able to get his idea of play, but you just wonder if like the personnel can
it's just
play up
he.
to it.
Yeah, he never has his. Like people always say, like, oh, la Chabineta, this and that. But it's like, dude, he hasn't had a full squad like fit. They haven't been fit. Like the players that he wants to have on the pitch, they haven't been 100% fit.
Yeah.
So I still give him a chance, but like I said, like the Barcelona fans are fickle. If you're not winning and you're not Champions League football, we're not. If they don't really get something, if we don't die like on that last line, then they're gonna turn on him.
Well, my counter argument to that would be, can can you say that this team is still under construction when they spent, I don't know, what is it, 150 on players?
Yeah, because it wasn't the players he wanted. You gotta remember, it wasn't players he wanted. It's just like they're trying to make some money. Like that's why you brought in a Lewandowski. That's why you brought in a Kessie. That's why you brought in.
They're trying to get
Was
shirt
it?
sales up.
Yeah. What's the right back? Arsenal. What's his name? Bellerin.
But
They
yeah,
made it seem like this is a big signing, and I was like, for who is coming back? All right.
Well, you guys brought in. Let's just go over real quick what they brought in. They
There's
brought
like 20
Marcos
fucking players,
Alonso,
bro.
Christensen,
Yeah, all free.
um,
Cassie.
Conde, Bellerin, Kessie. Did you guys bring anybody out from midfield? I think Kessie was the only midfielder you guys brought in, right?
Depay.
Well, I'm talking about this past summer, not Kessie. Oh, Pablo Torre, but he's like a developmental one. But we'll include him in there. Rafinha, um,
But I think it's still an experiment.
and
It's still
Lewandowski.
not a full team. Because
Well,
I said it before when Arsene Wenger
What
was at
happened?
Arsenal for 20 years. And how many years did it take for Mikel Arteta to finally get his team? 3. He came, and one of the years was when they fired Emery and they brought in Lundberg for a little bit, and then he took over those other 2.5 years, and he had to sell the players. It's because I think they don't give him chances, Xavi, especially because the fans are so passionate, especially just in Barcelona. But I think you have to give him some patience because it takes a long time to get rid of players, especially when players aren't performing, and you have to sell them on the cheap. And look at what happened to Mikel Arteta. He finally sold all the players he didn't want, got the players he wanted, and now look at them. They're first in the Premier League, possibly winning it because they're in such a good position.
But I mean,
But I think that's what Xavi needs.
I mean, no offense to Arsenal or Arsenal players, but I just feel like these these Barcelona players are a certain level, a little bit. Cause you have Pedri.
Oh, higher level, we're freaking first in the Premier League.
Oh,
They have
on your
older
face,
players.
Manchester City
No,
They
boy.
have older players, though.
not this team, but the team that Arteta got compared to the Barcelona squad that Xavi
Well, I
inherited.
thought you were gonna say. What were you gonna say? I
I
think
feel like this Barcelona has a little bit more because you have the young in that midfield. You have Pedri. You
to
have
like to sell,
Ansu. What?
because that's what he wants to do. Like he needs to sell some players so he can bring in the players he wants. I don't know why he doesn't
That's what
rate
I'm saying.
De Jong. I think he wants to like De Jong to play a little bit different, and then just like I think he's wrong.
I think that's the whole point of behind those free transfers that they brought in. They were like, oh, we'll get him with not that much and we'll sell them. That's why Kessie is getting linked to leaving. I think that's what they were trying to do. Let's get them in for free. The ones that stick, we'll keep, and we'll sell the other ones. Because when Arsene Wenger left, he didn't leave Arsenal with like the best players. We had to sell them and sell them and sell them, and then Emery came in, and then another coach, and that's what happened with Barcelona. Coleman came in, didn't work. Now Xavi's in. Now Xavi's left with the disaster of Coleman with the players that he brought in, and now he has to figure out how to do it, and then players get injured, so now it leaves him in a bad position. But he's doing good, I think.
Well,
I think he's doing pretty all right with the
you
team
didn't
he has right
mention,
now.
but Depay was actually linked to back to Manchester United.
Yeah, he had been linked with a move away.
So
Well, not
I don't
just
see.
Manchester United, but Juventus as well. Interested. I mean, we talked about Juventus, the financial issues, but yeah, probably.
I think what happens with Barcelona, I think the fans put too much pressure on the team, rightfully so, because they are Barcelona. But they need to understand they don't have Messi. They don't have the top players like they used to. They have a lot of young players trying to be in that level, like De Jong, who's playing really good in this World Cup. Gavi, Pedri, Depay, who's an experienced player who didn't reach his full potential. Lewandowski, who's a striker, aging striker, who should have some a couple more years. So I think they're still there. I think it's just the fans that are pressuring them and the Spanish media. But I think he should be fine. I don't think there should be a panic or should be a thing of like this guy's not working out. I think he's all right.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, just trying to create the counters for it.
Yeah, you
But
just don't want to win the league, huh?
no, dude, I
We're
could
gonna
care
win the
less.
league now.
I could care less
I
if
think
Barcelona win the. I think I
Yeah, because you
for
never even won the league
for
that many
for
times
Spanish
anyway.
football, I think you need a strong Barcelona. You think you need a strong Atletico. You need a Valencia. I'm a big La Liga fan, and you guys know this. I want La Liga to be as successful as the Premier League. So if we can get Barca back to that level, Atletico, Valencia, Villarreal, Sevilla, these teams get a little bit more
well
competitive. It's better for the
when La
league in
Liga
total.
was dominating back in the day, the best team was Barcelona and Valencia was the second because Valencia won in 2004, and that's when the Galacticos started joining and shit like that. And that's when Valencia were at the prime. So I think La Liga thinks
There
that
you go.
we're like the Bundesliga where it's only Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, but I think that's kind of the downfall of La Liga because no one else is competing, so it doesn't really. It's not like a Premier League, but I think now, especially with all the talent, all the great coaches in Sevilla, Athletic Bilbao, Valencia, Atletico Madrid, even Real Zaragoza with Javier Aguirre, who've been playing pretty well. I think they need that level of competition. I think Messi leaving Barcelona, although it hurt Barcelona, I think it helped every other team gain something
Boy, it
from
was
it because now you're not worrying about that.
it was Ronaldo and Messi leaving and hurts the league because there was, that was the reason that people were trying to watch these their games because of Messi and Ronaldo being in that league.
Especially the ESPN Plus deal that they got in the USA. I think I got more eyes on La Liga too.
Yeah, definitely for the American fans here, they've been able to watch more La Liga. But um, how I said, like, no, yeah, I wanna. It's always good when you can, when you can always go and see, you know, that Barcelona are at the best and Real Madrid are at the best, and you're able to gain a win from either one of those because you can say, well, they were at their best, you know. These last few years when Real Madrid had their streak, I think it was like 4 games, five, I don't remember exactly, of like beating Barcelona. There was always an asterisk with it. Well, that oh well, this been the weakest side of Barcelona has ever put out, you know. So I want to see Barcelona compete because then there's no asterisks against those competitions that when they face each other, you know.
You're still mad about La Manita, huh?
What?
You're still mad at La Manita?
Dude, I could care less about that, dude.
Bro, Jeffrey scored are you?
I
And
don't
Bojan.
care. I don't care, dude.
No, but I was
I
gonna
think
mention another thing when you were saying that people forget that Real Madrid hasn't winning the league at that much before that as well. You gotta remember
it's
that the
because they've
first
been winning the Champions League too. That's why people
or like
forget.
the Copa del Rey. That remember when that was a big deal when Cristiano scored that header. That was
Yeah,
the first Copa del Rey, and I think you know like maybe a little almost 20 years,
yeah,
close to
yeah.
yeah,
And
which
then
was great.
we had the whole I don't know if you guys remember this, but the whole debacle with Chedichev, where he came on as a substitute, but he was an illegal substitute, so we
Yeah,
got knocked out of that year Copa del Rey. But yeah,
What year was that?
it was like 2015, I believe. 2014,
Oh.
2015, around, no, 2015 or 2016.
Well,
Yeah,
Real Madrid has always been a Champions League team. That's like the main thing that they're good at.
yeah,
yeah, they just
that's what they.
the
I don't
tournament.
want to talk about them anymore. I don't want to talk about
They're
what's
just
it called, La
tournament
Liga
Well,
anymore.
players.
I'm talking about. I was talking about La Liga. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
La
talking
Liga,
about.
La
Players.
Liga. I don't
Barcelona.
want to talk about them. I want to wait
Well,
because it makes me want to watch La Liga, and no one can watch it.
do it in 38 games, and we'll
Yeah,
talk.
would you guys say that you're more a La Liga fan than the Premier League? Because I definitely am a more La Liga advocate, and I try to advocate the Liga more.
Well, I'm a
Yeah,
big Barcelona fan, but I think I watch the Premier League more. I feel like I know more Premier League players than La Liga,
What
so
about you,
that's where
Jordan?
I
uh,
differ.
I'm more of a fan of my teams.
Exactly.
And if you catch like a game, like if there was a Premier League game or La Liga game, which one would I watch? I would watch the La Liga one because I think that style of football is way more entertaining than the Premier League, where you get fouled every couple and they're always complaining about a foul. It's more physical. They're really just passing on the back for like a couple of minutes, and then they're like, "Oh, they finally scored." And you're like, "Oh, whatever." But La Liga, I think it's an exciting style of football because Spain, there's so many great players in Spain. There's Brazilian players, Argentinian players. Like I think there's more of a charm to it, especially the fans there.
Yeah, yeah. The charm. The I think I would honestly say that probably the Serie A probably has the best fans as in European football. Um, well, top five leagues. I'll say that because the Turkish fans, you can't compete against these guys
Well, I
against
think the
special.
Bundesliga could give some of those teams
That's what I was thinking about.
because Bundesliga fans are very crazy.
Like
You've all seen the clip when Haaland
almost
celebrates and he
scores.
points at the Wolfsburg fan, and the Wolfsburg fan goes,
Yeah, like anytime I see the Bundesliga, like their stadiums are packed, and it could be like a relegation team, and their teams are packed, and like you see, you've obviously heard of an empty head. Not gonna mention any any teams, but
Stupid.
well, all the top five leagues have good fan bases. I think the one that's not even a top five league, which is the French league, I think probably have the worst fans just by
well,
because of the competition there. And then you see some stadiums that aren't even full. So you're like, what is this?
Yeah, but the big clubs there, they're big clubs like Marseille, Lyon,
So, especially
PSG
those
now.
like Marseille PSG derbies are really heated, and that their
Yeah,
fans as well. Well, we had those incidents with I don't know how you remember, but what was it? The Gonzalez against Neymar in those derbies that it was like that it,
yeah.
that it got into some verbally verbal things, and then they
Disputes.
investigated it and tried to see it. But yeah, those. I mean, I think I just like the fans that like really get into the game, you know, and are like really singing and supporting their team. I like those type of fans.
Yeah, I
And
like
let
the
them
MLS.
fight
La Liga
and
MX too.
win.
Liga MX is also very fun to watch. I think especially when there's a good commentator, I think
Well, I think, yeah.
that adds to it too.
Yeah.
Well, I think what he
Well,
said as
I've
well.
I've
The
liked
derby.
the Atlanta fans. They really get into the teams and are really like. It reminds me of like those like South Americans, you know, fans are supporting their team.
Atlanta.
Oh, he's the
Atlanta.
Atalanta.
Oh, yeah, but they suck.
They're good.
Yeah.
Eh, what else are you guys going to talk about?
Um.
Well, we play. Well, me and Jordan play Ultimate Team, and Colin doesn't, and he should.
No. No,
But
I don't.
I got the USA jersey, the denim one.
Oh, you did?
I like,
I
yeah, because it was 18 mil or 15 mil, whatever it was. I was like, yeah, I'll buy it. Fuck it. I still haven't used it, but I was like, oh, blue with red pants,
I
green red
did
shorts.
the
18 mil for that
SPC
jersey?
Yeah,
18,000
yeah, 18,000.
coins.
You were doing the Spanish version? 80
Central Meat.
mil.
But I did the SPC for the Swedish jersey when the 1984 World Cup, the one with
Oh, yeah.
the blue stripes on the hips.
Hmm.
And let me tell you, dude, that jersey looks nice on the game. Like the detail of the little crest all over.
Hmm.
But yeah, the Ultimate Team's the best.
I feel like this
Yeah.
conversation is just between you guys because I don't play Ultimate.
Well, yeah, you should. Like, it's kind of fun to doing objectives, and you're like, oh, you have to play with seven Dutch players, and you're like, oh, I only have six, and then you have to buy someone to fit in, and then you gotta fill it up the rest with like other players. Kind of makes you like wonder, like, like because people forget that the most successful like World Cup teams have also like have like a kind of like a core of players playing in a single kind of team. The
Yeah.
Bayern Munich, the Barcelona, you know, in Italy, I think it was Juventus, was it
The
not?
the France, the French team.
Yeah, but they're not played like in one place. That's what I mean.
Yeah, in the Premier League.
The
No,
French,
but it means like
Yeah.
a lot of players from the French national team playing in one team.
yeah, one team, yeah,
Yeah. Oh, on one team. I thought you meant like
Yeah,
one.
one
yeah,
team.
like a league. Then,
No.
then, yeah, like the Spanish
Oh,
players
can I
are
talk
over
about
here.
the conspiracy theory I seen that like in the final there's always been who has won it has been an Inter Milan
Oh yeah,
or a
yeah,
Bayern Munich player.
When did it start? Do you know? When did it start?
I think since club football started, I think that's the whole thing.
Since
That
club
every
football?
since Inter and Bayern were, I think the team supposedly the thing goes. It's a meme more like than a theory, but it's interesting because Brozovic is still in it. De Vrij and Dumfries are still in it with Netherlands. Brozovic is with Croatia.
Hmm.
Argentina, Lautaro is still in it, and it would have been Joaquin Correa, but he didn't get called up. And
What
Morocco has an old player that used to play for Inter, which I don't count it, but Hakimi is still in there, so I think that's still
What
interesting.
about Portugal and Brazil? Do you guys does Inter have any players there?
No, no
No.
Portuguese or Brazilian players.
Well, they're not winning.
But uh,
We're not.
but
They're not
Bayern
winning.
Munich, it's also a thing of Bayern Munich. If there is a player that plays for Bayern Munich
yeah, it's an
in
Inter.
a team, but I
Is
don't
it
think they
either
have any.
or both of them?
Yeah, either or. They've always had a
Either or
player
has always
at
been. One of the most notable Inter Milan players is Lothar Matthäus, one of the greatest center mids, I think. But it's just a funny theory to look at, and also the theory of the Argentina team. I remember. I think I told you, right?
Wait, hold on.
The
Let me.
theory that
Whoa, do you want to hear the funny one?
that they all had hair.
Yeah, that one.
That 78 and 86, they
86,
both had
yeah.
hair. But
Boy
the
had
one I
good
saw
hair.
was that when they in
Well,
third game.
Papu Gomez just messed it up. He shaved his hair.
Yeah, but he still has hair. He still has like stubble.
Well, it's not like
They're
he's
talking about
gonna.
balls.
Well, cause
But
they said who was it? I seen a clip and he was talking about it, but they were showing somebody, but he
Yeah,
had
he
like
cut it.
shaved hair.
Well, you know who he wanted to look like?
Yeah, I seen that
Well,
David
yeah,
Beckham.
yeah, like this guy.
on the Kun Aguero stream, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's like,
But
If
the
you guys
theory,
haven't watched that video of the whole like highlights of the stream, dude, it's so freaking funny. And Messi is funny in that one too. But then Rodrigo de Paul and Leonardo Paredes show up. It's just hilarious, dude.
the yeah, it is. It's very funny, especially if you talk a little bit Spanish.
Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah. I think we have to mention that if you know Spanish, it's really funny.
But the theory is that the 78, 86, and this year's have something in common, which is on the third game.
Oh yeah.
I think it was Kempes, Maradona, and Messi all missed a penalty in the third game. They all missed the penalty, and that's a theory that an Argentinian fan said on. I think it was on Argentinian news where they were talking to people after the game.
Yeah.
And I just think those are interesting little fun facts,
Yeah,
like coincidences, I guess you could say.
yeah.
But that was it.
All right, guys. With that, with that theory, this concludes our episode for today. Pedro, you want to add anything?
I just can't wait for the game so I could see how wrong or right I was.
Jordan.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch the game here in Utah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. So you get notified of when we post a video.
Put your mic closer to you, Colin. I can't hear you.
I have it close to me.
Hey, well, I couldn't hear you on mine.
It's right
That's
here.
how I was.
When we get notified of another posting video, we'll probably be making a video on Sunday.
After the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
After they all play.
Yeah, or maybe Saturday. Oh well, no, I can't do Saturday. Maybe Sunday. We'll try to record Sundays, and do a overview of the quarterfinals, how our brackets look up, and talk about the upcoming semifinals and how we see those.
Or
teams
the
matching up.
upsets. Or
Any upsets? Yeah. Have we seen
Well,
any
I already
upsets?
know my bracket's wrong.
Yeah, how I said
what I predicted, I'm surprised. I'm like, Mexico disappointed, Netherlands as my dark horse, Argentina to win. That still looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, then Mbappe, the Ballon.
Ballon d'Or.
But yeah.
All right, so we'll talk to you guys later.
You just don't like see me win, don't you?
Well, what's it called? What was your predicted lineup, real quick, Junior?
Just a hater. Wait, what?
Your predicted lineup? I mean, your predicted final. My bad.
France, Argentina.
France, Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could still happen. All right, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time.
Junior, you say the like and subscribe thing. I want to hear Junior say the like and subscribe
Like and
thing.
subscribe. Right here.
Smash the like button.
Smash. No, don't smash it. You want to use it later.